Yano is my favorite. And we are...
Anong genre yan?
Si Dong Abay. May
The
sarili
best
siyang
yun,
genre.
pare.
natin, no?
Oh, yan. Ang kantaw na ulit. Live na ba tayo?
Alright.
Maaboy,
5 minutes.
Pero nakikita na nila to, di ba?
Oh, live na tayo. Hi.
Oh,
Narinig
live
pa tayo. Oo.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. May nag-comment na.
Oo. There.
Sino?
Wala pa si Sir Ruel. Ruel will be here very soon.
Just few minutes.
Nasa VIP waiting area si Sir Ruel. The Tunay na Rider VIP waiting area.
Oo, dinig
Oh,
mo.
it's hey Tom, what's
Tomsi.
up?
Hi, Tomsi.
Oh my.
Ng mga fans ni ni Dino at ni Ruel to. Hindi tayo kilala, pare.
Oo, di tayo kilala niyan.
So, yep, Dino and Ruel are in the super VIP waiting area. They'll be out soon.
3 minutes.
Hey, Paul, what's up?
May dumaan na helicopter. Naanggian ako din.
Who you daw? Who you? Ako po si Jolly Alarcon. Kasama ko si
Ibarra. Ako si Ibarra.
Iba.
Kasama ko si Ibarra at saka si
Si Harold.
What the Buck.
What the buck?
What the Buck? I'm really liking my new mic. How does it sound to you guys?
Ganda.
Ganda.
Yan ba yung fairy?
Ito yung fairy. Yep.
In Ferry.
Nakaka-emasculate yung pangalan na yun.
Maono Fairy. That is the mic I'm using. Available on Lazada.
Sponsored ka ba, Ibba?
Hindi pa.
Sponsored? Hindi pa.
According to Tom, it's very loud and it's very clear.
Loud and clear.
ASMR. The worst ASMR would be like starting a motorcycle. Parang, hello, we're here on Tunay na Rider.
Tapos palyan. Kaboses mo daw si Jay Taruk, oh.
That's incredibly flattering. Pro na pro. And Jay Taruk will be our guest next week on Tunay na Rider.
Oh, talaga? Si Jay Taruk?
Wala. Jay Taruk, idol ko yun eh.
Idol ko rin yun.
Idol natin lahat. Peabody Award-winning documentary filmmaker. Crush ng lahat ng mga nanay sa mga sari-sari store sa buong Pilipinas. Si Jay Taruk. Uy, message mo, Jolly. Sabi mo kay Jay.
Oo, manood naman siya.
Oh.
Binabola ka namin dito eh.
Oo, para may showbiz, di ba?
Kinupupag ka namin dito.
Oy, psst, psst.
Hindi naman.
Yung mga guest natin ngayon, mga dissenting tao medyo good behavior tayo tonight.
Ang mga opinyon ng mga host na ito, walang kinalaman ng network.
Kinauukulan.
Oh, wow. So, Ebong, thank you. Again, high praise from a pro. Ebong is another host with the most. He's got a really smooth voice. And he's a old school rider.
1 minute.
Oy, 1 minute na. 1 minute.
Magsisimula.
Bilis ng oras talaga pa nag-e-enjoy.
Parang haba ng
8 o'clock
1 minute.
na.
8:04.
Oo nga. Late pala tayo.
Oh, mabuhay from Japan. Richard Bolt. Hey, Richard. Tama ba? Ohio gozaimasu. Ay!
Hindi, gabi na eh.
Si Bak Pago yung is our Japanese expert.
Yep. He grew up in Japan. They've got a farm there. Wala kang tattoo, Bak, no?
Ang dami, kaya
Um,
hindi nga ako public bat. Ayan na, ayan na!
All right, here we are. Oh, hindi tayo yun
Yun!
There you go.
Woo!
Tunay na Rider episode. Anong episode na to?
3!
3.
Season
2,
two.
episode
Season 2.
3. Tunay na Rider podcast. All right, so what are we doing this week, guys?
May dalawa tayong guests.
oh,
These are kind of heavy hitters, man. We've leveled up. And then si Jolly may guest sa
likod
studio niya. Si Jojo. Hey, Jojo! Hindi tayo narinig. So, on this episode of Tunay na Rider, we've got 2 Tunay na Riders of the Week. We will also have Oro Plata Moto, where we'll be talking about some of the best bikes in the world that are made in the Philippines, Gawang Pinoy.
Pinoy!
Ibba.
Siyempre.
And then we will have Meme Moto, where Buck will tell us what are the top memes of the week. So there's a lot to talk about tonight. But before we move on, I need to give stuff away. I just got a delivery from Under Armour. They dropped off a lot of stuff. Thank you for the love, Under Armour.
Thank you.
We've got a lot of stuff from Turatech, from Otterbox, from Angkas, and we will be giving something away after every segment. So if you...
paano sumali?
Yeah.
Paano sumali?
Oo nga. Paano sumali? All you have to do is like our page and share. And then Jules
Screenshot.
will share. Ryan, is it share a screenshot or just like and share?
Like and share.
Like and share. And we will have Jules. She'll be compiling everybody's names. And after every segment, we'll be doing a raffle and a draw. We will be giving a grand prize, which is something from Under Armour, something from Turatech, something from Otterbox, and something from Angkas. You know what that thing is. 4 things. But for the grand prize, you have to follow all of our social media. That's Tunay na Rider podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. All right. So now on to Tunay na Rider of the Week, and I'll just do a quick intro. One of them, we've been asking these 2 guys since day 1 of our podcast to join, but they're really busy doing some pretty awesome things. So the first one is doing everything from digital education to helping tricycle drivers during these difficult times, distributing face masks, giving out scholarships, and keeping Philippine history alive through the Ayala Museum and the Filipina Heritage Library. And I've had the honor of riding and also working with him. Our first Tunay na Rider of the Week is Ruel Maranan. And woo! Yay! Ito yung mahirap kung walang audience.
Welcome natin.
And then our second Tunay na Rider of the Week has put the Philippines in the world map of motorcycles. He's made us a global player. He's brought one of the best brands in the world, not just here to the Philippines and bringing it to people all over, but all over the region. They're manufacturing it here. We have Dino Santos. Ruel is the president of the Ayala Foundation. And si Dino, maraming trabaho to. So he's also president and chief operating officer of Adventure Cycles Philippines, Inc. Nax, perfect pang tunay na rider, di ba? Adventure Cycles
Pangalan pa lang
Philippines,
eh.
Inc. And he's the president and chief commercial officer of KTM Asia Motorcycle Manufacturing, Inc. All right, let's roll the OBB for Tunay na Rider. Walang KTM dyan, kailangan pagilitan natin yung graphics.
Hindi, kinostom na. Hindi naman chopper.
Hey, Dino. Hey, Ruel. You've got a lot of friends. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay.
Watching.
Okay, great.
So welcome to the show. We are so grateful. You guys have been incredibly busy. I think we've been asking you since season 1, and now we're very lucky that you're here in our new format where we are live streaming. It's reaching a lot more people than our Spotify. We're now live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. This is going to be, it's been pretty good, actually. So we've got Aris Ilagan saying, Tagay na. Kami yung Thursday habit ni Aris. We've got Tom C saying he needs shorts, oddly. And my dad. We've also got
Red
Richard
wine.
Bolt saying hi from Japan. And a whole bunch of other people, man. This is growing. All right, Ruel, Dino, again,
Yes.
thank you for being on the show.
It's an honor and pleasure, man.
Yes. Happy
So-
to be here. Happy to be here.
I guess let's go on with Tunay the Rider of the Week. So, why do you guys ride?
Sino muna?
You know.
Oh, Ruel. Sorry, these guys are classy gentlemen.
Okay.
So they really know.
Okay, I'll start with it. Fortunately for me, it's both pleasure and part of my role. Pleasure because at least my wife knows that when I ride a bikes, I am really in my zone and I have to be in my zone. So it's my me time. So she allows me that respite, yung space ko to ride. No? And at the same time, the good side of it, because of my role in the foundation, riding compensates so much because it really brings me literally to the ground level. No? Yung mga pasikot-sikot natin, yung mga pinupuntahan, na you really get a feel of what's happening on the ground. You are really direct to the community. You know what they are doing. You know how they feel. So that helps me a lot. So in my case, it's both business and pleasure in a way. So perfect combination for me. Every weekend is really maximized for my end. So that's
I
how
agree.
that's how it works for me. Yeah.
I agree 100%. When you're driving in a car, it's like you're watching TV, diba? You're not part of the environment. When it rains, you get wet, diba? When you're driving through a field, you can smell the green. When you drive through a shade, you can feel the coolness, diba? Every area you're immersed in talaga. And I guess that, considering with what your job is, that really helps you connect more with the community.
Definitely. All the
And I also-
senses are working. You have to use all your senses. Diba? Na-experience talaga. Na-experience mo ang tao. At lahat ng klase ng tao. Wala kang pipiliin. Lahat ng klase, madadaanan mo, makakasama mo, makakasalmuha mo, maaamoy mo, mahahawakan mo, madidikitan mo. And that's the beauty of it all. Diba?
You know what? You're right. Writing is very inclusive. What I realized, I have such a wide and diverse group of writing friends because it goes to the core of who you are. You're not talking, there's no hyperbole, there's no, when you're writing with someone, it's a solitary experience, but it's also a social experience that allows you to understand that person more. So regardless of where they're coming from, you know that I can trust Buck, I can trust Dino, I can trust Ruel, and I can trust Jolly because I've ridden with them and they always had my back and I've got theirs. Dino,
Nakakaiyak naman yun.
medyo level up na tayo. Kailangan. Pina-practice ko to.
Nakakaiyak naman yun. Sabi naman, Ibba.
Natouch ka ba, Pak?
Oo. Ngayon ko lang na experience.
Ngayon ko lang
Totoo
na-realize.
nito. Sorry, I'll give you, you know how it worked for me when I used to be in another company sa water. Para malaman ko kung may tagas sa kalye, sa area of service area namin. Riders lang ang nagte-text sa akin o nagte-text ako. Sila ang nagbibigay sa akin ng feedback. Partner, may tubig dito. Walang rider na naglilinis ng bike ang gustong madumihan ng bike. Di ba? Maulan na. Wag lang mabasa, di ba? So it works so much for me. So dala-dala ko yan. Pag-ikot, sila lang yung tinetext ko, kamusta dyan? And then they give you straightforward answers and feedback. Napakadali.
Oo nga naman.
Me, Ibba, you know, there were
Yes, sir. Dino.
yeah, three things that made me, you know, want to ride. One was I needed that wind in my face. That's number one. And second, that sense of adventure, that you're able to go anywhere, anytime. And the third, I think, is friendship. As what Ruel said and what you said, it's a friendship that you build along the way. But there's a fourth thing that happened over the past 3 years. Work was part of it as well. So, you know, all of these together, you know, I just am lucky to have been able to ride for work and also during the weekends with friends.
Agree.
Tama.
Yeah.
And we're blessed. I mean, this isn't work for Jolly and Buck. The reason we're here is because this is what we do normally. We just do it in front of a camera now, right? We hang out, we talk about bikes. Somebody will visit, and then we'll still talk about bikes.
Yes, parang dapat nire-record natin to eh. Parang, ayun, ito na nga.
So we've also got Doc Rolly in the house. Hey, Doc. And we've got a good friend of ours, si Nani Juarez, saying hello to Dino and Ruel.
Hey, Nani.
All right. So, when did you guys start riding? How did you get into it? Let's start with Ruel again. Let's follow that format. We're not used to having two people.
Sige, I will defer age first before good looks. Okay. So, I started riding because I was exposed doon sa mga motorcycle cups, no? My father used to hang around with motorcycle cups. And every time they will meet up in our place, nakapark sa harap namin yung mga big bikes nila. And like a kid, you know, I was 7, 8. Pagparada doon, sasakyan ko yun. So, nandun na yung napaso ako dahil mainit pa yung tambucho. Nandun yung maiipit ako. Worse is, I think, nahulugan ako ng bike. Kasi,
Kinalikot mo.
sobrang bigat, di ba? And then the other time was I saw that kickstart pa yung mga bike noon. Sinubukan kong kick, lumipad ako. So, you know, I said, wow, how come these guys, you know, every time I see them, ang lalaking tao, one kick, one start, parang ang dali-dali. I was so odd, taken aback pag nakikita ko sila, no? And yung tawag pa nung panahon na yon, mga hagat. So,
hanggang ngayon, diba?
Tanungin nyo na lang yung mga magulang nyo siguro. Hagat yun. But motorcycle cups, di ba? But talagang kakaiba sila. So from that, I pick it up. I had neighbors who, the funny thing, while my dad is hanging around with them, my father will never allow me to ride a motorbike until a neighbor got a mini trail. So inggit na inggit ako doon sa neighbor ko. Tapos sabi ko, pa, highest grade. You know, I'll give you the highest grade. Buy me mini trail. Wala. Nakuha ko lahat yung grade na yun. Walang binigay sa akin. Tapos, the worst is, I had a neighbor, a girl, same age ko, binili pa siya ng bike. Tapos sabi ko, wow, girl, may bike. Tapos ako, bisikleta yun sa akin. Sabi ko, wow. So I would borrow, hiding it from my parents. So really, the worst is they never bought me a bike. They have extended all the bells and whistles sa buhay ko, pero never bought me a motorbike.
Why was that? Was it a risk?
Yeah, because not to be, the reality of it all,
Yeah.
90% of those motorcycle cops had tragic accidents.
Wow.
And they were very close friends, no? They were very close friends. So it never really came to the mind of my parents. So that really became a no negotiation. You can ask for anything except for that. And that really drove me crazy. and I crazy in the sense that I told myself, tatakas lang ako, nangihiram ako, and mabuti lang yung mga kapitbahay ko, mga friends ko,
Hindi
very
nagsusumbong.
tolerant. Hindi nagsusumbong eh. Kasi ano yan eh, kailangan may accomplice din sila eh, di ba? So, isa ako doon sa nagtutulak ng bike, pag walang gasolina, nagsisip-sip kami sa kotse, nalulunok mo yung gasolina, di ba? So, we went through that until, I really just kept on borrowing. Now, fast forward. When my parents migrated, immediately 6 months after, I bought myself first a scooter, a big scooter. But this is the funny thing. Hindi ko mauwi sa bahay because I was already married. So long story short, ibinahay ko yung scooter sa apartment.
Wait, you got another apartment?
Yeah, for the scooter.
Just
Parang
for the
gawain ko yan,
scooter.
Oo, until may chismosong kapitbahay, kinakausap yung wife ko yata. Sabi, parang may binabahay yung asawa mo sa kabilang kalye.
Ay, delikado to. Aris Ilagan from Top Bikes just said, I will write an article on Ruel's sad story about motorbikes.
Motorbikes.
This is Aris from Top Bikes and Top Gear.
But, my wife just really confronted me and said, no, bring it home. Dito ka na. Tigilan mo yung extra cost.
That's
I really thank my wife for being tolerant even up to now when it comes to my craziness.
Pero ano to lahat ng natin, Ibba, napansin ko, lahat ng guests natin so far sa Tunay na Rider started out riding na tinatakas sila yung mga bikes nila.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost all. But I think Dino's gonna break that mold.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was in grade 1.
Yan.
A best friend and classmate that would always read dirt bike magazines. And whenever I would sleep in his house over the weekends, we would ride the Honda Mini Trail, And I always wanted one, but until the age of around 11, where I had to go to daily lessons, horseback riding lessons away from the house. And I was 11 years old. And my cousin, who left for the States, left a Honda Mini Trail in my mom's office. So I wrote my cousin and I asked her if we could buy it. And she said yes. And that Mini Trail that I have, I've been riding that. I rode that till around I was 17 before I learned to drive a car. And that Mini Trail sits proudly in my sala today. It's still there.
Wow.
It's probably 50 years old. And it's there every day. I see it every day. I ride it sometimes, but it has a special place inside my house. So that's my story for motorcycling.
Mini Trail. You're not near it now, because the other night we did like a quick tech rehearsal and you showed us all your cool bikes.
Yeah, downstairs, right?
Oh.
Special place in the house. And, that hopefully one day my son will
become a museum.
Yeah.
Ito, may comment si Eb Josh.
Si Ebong.
Yung misis niya raw, masama na yung tingin sa kanya kasi pinagdududahan na kung meron siyang binabahay na motorsiklo.
Ang daming mabubuking ngayon, pare. Yan pala yung gawain.
Sorry, pero yun yung sinasabi ko. You really have to declare and there should really be a support. Kasi ang sarap yung yung suportado ka. They're part of everything, no? Pati kasi ako, sorry, I'll jump into I don't ride pagka galit ako eh. Pagka masama loob ko, I don't ride. I never ride that way. Even in my younger days, I've learned my lesson early. I would drive the car, but after that, no more. No, I had close calls, so I realized I don't push my luck. But anyway, going back to the bike, I never ride pag mainit ang ulo ko. O kaya nagtampuhan or masama loob ko, I don't.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Oo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Kasi iba talaga eh.
Yeah.
Masisira diskarte mo eh, kahit yung pulso mo. It affects yung pulso mo.
Yep.
Pang iba, tsaka yung coordination mo. You know that, you know what I'm saying, right? I mean, ibang-iba yung feeling. Masarap yung encourage ka. Sasabihin pa sa'yo, pag alam maaga ride mo, matulog ka na. O eto, kainin mo. Kasi kailangan mo ng carbo because you will be riding far, So my wife, at least number one, she used to be an athlete, a national athlete. So there's that discipline. So even food, she will tell me, she would give me Hydrate and everything. So there was a joke na that my friends were saying, partner, baka naman nakita ng wife mo yung insurance policy mo. Kaya lagi kaya ka ini-encourage mag-ride lagi. Sabi ko, oo nga kasi she's been close to my staff eh. Baka sila nag-uusap.
Delikado yun.
No, but kidding aside, I'm fortunate to be supported really by my wife when it comes to riding. Yan. Basta, merong cardinal rule lang yan na sasabihin niya, you ride safely and you come home. Come home safely. Lagi yan.
So, what's in your stable now, Ruel? What are the bikes that you've got? See, Jolly and Buck are the ones who maintain his bikes. So I have an inkling of the wide variety of motorcycles that he's got in his garage.
Ito mahirap pa ni-declare mo. I have a couple, fortunately.
Well, the couple. You can talk about the couple.
Well, of course, number one, couple of KTMs. And then a couple of other bikes. My point is, it depends really, as I tell my wife, the field that you would want. No, if you want a bit to go sporty, then don't push an adventure to a sporty, and vice versa. No? So at least in that manner, I'm very fortunate that again, I have that bit of luxury with options. So that's why I keep that number of bikes. It becomes challenging when you have a couple of the same, for example, adventure, sports. So that becomes a tougher thing. So lately, Jolly knows this. I said I will simplify a little. So I keep at least one bike for one purpose, supposedly. And Dino lately has been also gracious in helping me out for doing city rides. So if you have friends like Dino, things are facilitated.
I'm gonna talk to Dino soon also about that. You know what? I also got me thinking about what you were saying about don't ride angry. You should definitely not ride angry. But I also noticed that if I have a problem, if I'm feeling very, very stressed out, which is kind of borderline angry, right? But it's not. I need to ride to get because it helps me clear up what I should do next. It helps me focus. It helps me become more steady. So there's kind of this. You can't be too emotional, right? But if you got a problem, I think it's also a good
I think
tool.
iba ano yun eh. It works both ways sa yung ganyan. Kasi some people nagra-ride para kalimutan yung problema nila eh. Ang problem doon, na-affect yung pagra-ride mo eh. Whereas yung mga ibang tao, pag nag-ride, nagre-refresh yung utak nila eh. Nawawala yung typical nagra-ride ka, you forget yung mga problem mo and you live in the moment. Yun yung okay na ano dapat eh. Going into the bike, ganun dapat yung outlook mo. Hindi yung mag-ride ka para yung thrill, makalimutan mo yung mga problema mo. Medyo yun ang delikado eh.
So now, Dino gave us a sneak peek last night, and we were very, very lucky to see some of the classics in his table. Actually, up until I think this morning, Jolly and Buck were still blown away by one of your bikes.
No,
May sariling
medyo kanina
showroom.
pa nga kami.
no.
Kanina pa nga kami ni Buck eh.
To work for a motorcycle company, and so I have access to the different KTM bikes, depending on the type of ride that, as Ruel said, if it's an adventure, if it's a sport, or enduro, right? So I do love each of them equally, depending on what type of ride is going to be done. However, I also like tinkering with motorcycles. I restore motorcycles on my own. Back then, it used to take me almost around 6-7 months. Every night I would work on it. But now I have friends. I'm lucky to have friends as office mates who are also quite good at these things. And if it used to take me 5 months, it takes me now 2 weeks because there are like 5 of us. And so,
Okay.
yeah. So these are the small mini bikes, that sit proudly in my house. Things that I ride, if I go to the grocery or go to the ATM, it just brings back the childhood memories. I think of what I used to do when I was a kid. And, hopefully, I was telling my son, who also rides. His name is Diego. He's probably watching now. He also rides. He started riding at the age of 9. And I was telling him that when he has his own kids, hopefully he can give these bikes to them, because motorcycling has been part of our life, and it has created a lot of memories and bonding moments between us. And the childhood that I had was so wonderful, and I thank my parents for it. And hopefully he does the same. And hopefully the motorcycle serves as that tool, to bring family together, and to make a person a better one. So yeah, I'm just a nut that's just lucky to be working for a motorcycle company. Yeah, happy to just have a job.
and I think we're all lucky that we're able to, like Jolly right now. You can see in the background, that's Jojo. He's working on a bike right now. All right, this is our passion. This is what we love doing, and we get to kind of make a little living out of it.
Yeah, Ibba, this morning I was in a meeting and I was talking to the production people at the factory, and they were telling me about this certain screw. And I said, okay, just a minute. I just need to go down for a bit. Give me 5 minutes. And so I went down and I went under the motorcycle. I got a wrench and I started removing that screw. And I went back to them and I said, this is the one that you're talking about, and this is this and this is that. So we talked about the M6 and then the M8, and we were talking about the threads. And I said, that's part of motorcycle building. Everybody has to get their hands dirty to be able to feel it. Because if you don't feel, a motorcycle is something that you feel. You're riding it. You're not driving it. You're riding a motorcycle. Driving a car is different. When you ride a motorcycle, there's 2 of you, right? All your senses are there. And you need to know every bit and piece of that, especially because you are now a steward of the safety of those that are going to be riding the bike you build. Right? So, to me, I'm just lucky that it's part of my job. Right?
Yeah, I'm super lucky that I got friends like Buck and Jolly because I'm not mechanical at all.
Yung mga tatawag ng 11 ng gabi, guys, pumutok yung gulong ko, patulong.
Oh, like Buck has picked me up so many times, like with my bike broken down. Speaking of broken down bikes, another guy who's helped me out a lot is Todi Teodoro. Hey Todi, what's up?
Okay, si
And
Todi.
Uy, Todi.
Idol Todi. And then we also have our super idol and our guest for next week, the guy we were talking about earlier, Jay Tarok.
Jay Taruk!
Hey
Hey,
Jay,
Jay.
what's up? Thanks for dropping by. Can we bring up his post, Ryan? His message. A very orange evening to all of you. Medyo, I was so surprised that Dino and I have the same outfit.
Couple shirt, oh.
All right. Now, what is ano? So we've been talking, you guys have been riding quite a while and have a bit of an extensive collection of motorcycles. Actually, even Jolly and Buck also have an extensive collection of motorcycles, but most of them don't run. Same here. What is your ano? What are your bike tips or bike hacks when you guys ride?
Yeah, well, I think
Are
it's
you-
Oh, sorry.
Are you the only one on?
Go ahead, Ruel. Let's
Yeah.
follow that format.
So, Bak, take
Hello.
it away.
Ano na? Ikaw, Ruel, what are your bike hacks or bike tips?
You have no choice because your co-hosts are actually accessing as we speak.
Oh, I think we lost
O
Ruel.
baka mabagal yung mabagal
Oh,
yung
may lag.
internet.
How about
nahuli.
you, Dino?
well. I don't think there are any hacks on it, but I think there has to be a process. My boss Art Dan always tells me, what is the process? I deal with a lot of engineers, and process is very important. So the process of doing the checks before the ride, tire pressure, right, battery, right, that's very important. Also, it's good to have loose change inside your bar pad bag, right, and then the proper
Yep.
tools. You need a plugging kit. You need a compressor, right? You need to have a GPS. You need to know basically where you're going, what time you're coming back. You need to notify the people that you live with that you are going south today, and therefore you're expected to be back at a certain time, right? So these are the things that what I usually do. Like tomorrow, I'm going on a bike ride, and I've already done it. Right, I went down to the bikes, checked their tire pressure, checked everything, went around, fixed the stuff that I'm going to bring. It's a lot of preparatory work, and I really enjoy it. I love to tinker. I love to use equipment, right? Use tools. So I guess for me that's it.
Yeah. I think most riders love preparing for rides. Like just the process and going through, oh, do I have this? And you know what I love? I love bringing something along, and then something happens, even to my bike, and I get to use it. You know what I mean? Like I love having like yung tusok, diba? And I'm like, I got a flat. All right, I can use it. Or a pump.
Si Ibba, mahirap kasama sa ride eh. Ibba na flat ako, yes!
May tools ako para dyan.
But Dino's point, I just want to piggyback on that. Kasi the preparation really is very important. I think that's a very good insight. Because as we've said, we're into the safety riding and everything. And for us to ensure that, a lot of preparation will have to go into it. Diba? The bike itself, your condition as a rider, and if at least if the bike and the rider is already conditioned, you can attend to the peripherals, the others. Kasi the worst is you're not planned, you're not organized, and then you get out of the road. Oh, wow. you are contributory to the chaos and anarchy in the street, di ba?
Yeah.
Yun ang mahirap eh. Akala yung bike, bisikleta. Di ba? Maraming
Correct,
gano'n eh.
correct, correct.
Ang feeling nila,
Oh,
marunong ako magbisikleta, pwede na ako magmotor. Yun ang mahirap na mindset, no? And that's where it gets very troubling even sa perception ng publiko. Sa nakikita nila, akala pagka sinabi mo yung iba, pag sinabi mong rider ka, medyo iba pa rin ang tingin, no? Kasi syempre, hindi natin nila lahat, meron pa din. Kaya maganda yung sinabi ni Dino. The preparation is really total eh. Mental yan, emotional, yung nabanggit ko kanina, physical, di ba? You have to be in your elements to enjoy the whole experience of riding, di ba? You don't worry about your situation, you don't worry about your problems. You're in the zone, di ba? You're really enjoying it. Other people cannot, non-riders cannot understand what we're talking about. That the experience of being in the zone, di ba? Ibang-iba yung feeling na yon.
you're right, Ruel and Dino. But talking about community, no? When you and it just hit me that your bike maintenance and preparing and the fact that I love bringing extra tools. I even bring now a lithium battery so that I can help other people. You owe it to the group that you ride with
Yes.
to take these precautions and to be prepared because you don't want to be the guy. I mean, if it's out of your control,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Then it's okay. You get a flat tire, whatever. But if you're the guy who doesn't take care of their bikes,
At saka
who doesn't,
yung halatang negligent yung tire.
Yeah.
Oo.
diba?
Ay, mahina na talaga yun eh. Oo.
Even take it to another level. And Carl Declude and Nani Juarez and Bimbo and Manu,
They're watching.
Yeah, they know this, that when we do a bike ride, I go on Google Earth and I take waypoints, right? And those waypoints are dictated and logged. And the nearest hospitals, those waypoints are also notified. And I also get the nearest Ayala Business Center that is there, and they are notified as well. And so we are not going there blind, right?
Correct.
And if anything should happen, we're prepared. And the numbers of the next of kins and who needs to be contacted if something should happen is also there. Because when all hell breaks loose, you have to do that. And we do, and it takes me around 3-4 days to do that and spend late nights looking at maps, looking at GPS, going on Google Earth, and basically riding the trail before you even go there. I think that is very, very important. And hopefully, and that also makes you controls what you are going to do. There's no, there's a nice ridge over there, let's make a left. No, that's not going to happen because you prepared for it. Because that's when bad things happen. When you go to areas where you don't plan it, right? So as my boss Artan always tells me, it's better to have a plan than no plan at all, right? So I'm always with a plan, right? Sometimes even over, but that's just the way things are. And maybe it's good to be conservative.
Correct.
So my bike tip is to find someone who has a plan and ride with them, which is what Ruel and I do. We usually ride. We never worry about the plan. We ride with Eric Manangkil, who is our forever ride commander, who does.
There has to be one person in that group at least, right? So at least you're not going there blind.
Yep.
Tama.
Totally agree. That's why that's what I mentioned, the riding with a group. You really get to appreciate each other's strengths, no?
Yeah.
In as much as you know the other's area to be assisted, right? And that's where the fun is eh. Wala naman tong pagalingan eh. Wala naman tong pagsaray. Even ikaw yung lead sweeper, that's a role, no? And we take it at heart, di ba? So, yun yung maganda sa riding in a group. Tama si Ibba, like you don't want to worry about it. You want to enjoy the weekend. you take care of your bike, you take care of yourself, follow the lead. Diba? Then you enjoy it. Pero kaya nga pag sinabihan tayo iba na, oh, you take the lead, all of a sudden, huh?
Pressure. Oh no.
Saan pupunta?
Nope. There's so much pressure because you worry about everyone. There's so much. It's a unique individual who will take on that responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So speaking of these community and group rides, what's you guys? I've ridden with Ruel in some pretty great rides, and Dino. There's nobody
Yeah.
else I've seen with these like. I mean, I don't know if I think the only person I'm more envious of when it comes to these epic rides is probably Alvin and Toto,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So let's start with Ruel first, and then we'll go with Dino when he can. What's your most epic ride, Ruel?
Well, for me, I
You were
think
supposed to have one.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the very first one that we had as hombres, when we went to the States, no, looking back at it, we just kept on talking about it, and then all of a sudden, it really happened. The D-Day happened. No, we were all going there together with your dad, Romy, and then of course, what makes it epic? Sila Prof. Randy, kasama natin. And then, of course, my bedmate and my ride mate, si Tata Pete, di ba? And Tata Pete, if I'm not mistaken, at the time was pushing Tata Pete, mga 78 yata at the time, right? He was nearing 80 years old. Huh?
Bata pa.
Batang-bata. So, sabi niya, pag-enjoy tayo. And he was giving me all the tips doon sa States because his second home is California. So, he was all into it. And, of course, Eric, again, was our ever reliable commander. He has reconned the whole place. And then, the nice part is that we have our friends there, yung mga ex-Navy SEALs na American citizens, right?
Yep.
Who had a big group also who accompanied us. And that's where we felt the hospitality. Remember, Ibba, the Mikasa
grabe.
They evacuated the whole house and then offered the whole house to us.
They slept on the floor so we could sleep in their rooms. This is a different level. So, bikers, yung mga riders like talaga, yung mga tunay na rider, all over the world, we're all the same. We're all bikers. There's this connection talaga. Yeah, I remember that was pretty epic.
So, it's a dream for a lot of us. I think at that time, a lot of us who went there really was able to check our bucket list, no?
Yep.
Going to the Highway 1 and everything. And of course, there were other peripherals sa akin. I think that was in Kota Kinabalu when I rode with si Johnny Guevara and everything. Dalawa lang kami. And my first time to really do quote-unquote off-road. And just a funny thing because the guide said, we were worried kasi it was a broken bridge and talagang rough road. And then we wanted to go back. Tapos sabi niya sa amin, he just pointed, British guy, ex-motocross champion. Sabi niya, well, if we go back, I don't think we can face this kind of heavy downpour. So we have to move on. So we really had to do that off-roading thing there. And he was so gracious and he was so good as an instructor. And we really enjoyed it. And for me, at that time, that's where really you really have to trust the bike, your instinct, the tips, and what you've learned and unlearned. So sa akin, yung dalawang aspect na when I go back, it would test you. You'd realize things that you can do and your limitations, which is very important. And of course, the whole journey of the friends, the right company that you have. As I always say, the destination becomes consequential. the companion, your companion,
Yes.
your ride buddies makes the whole experience really defining.
Tama.
No, sa akin, yun ang malaking bagay.
Well, speaking of ride buddies, George from the Hombres West Coast wing is watching us, and
Oh, hi, George.
Ryan, can you float that up, George? He says, "We'll never forget the Hombres 2014 West Coast ride." You know, it was
West
because of
Coast.
George. George he went out of his way and he guided my dad and me because we got separated from the group, if you remember, and we've never been there, right? And I don't know what George did, but he took the time and he guided us, and we're unused to riding on these massive highways, and he made sure we were safe, and I really appreciate that, George.
Yep, yep.
All right, now these are normal human rides, like that Ruel, George, and my dad
Yeah.
do. Now let's take it another level, and let's ask
No,
Dino
no, as I
what
said,
his most epic ride is.
yeah, I've been lucky to have been invited. Jaime and Fernando, together with the friends and family, have been going on these rides every year. And this year was supposed to be the 18th year. But out of those
Wow.
18 years, I've ridden 13 years. Today, this year was supposed to be the 14th year, of not missing a ride. But the most memorable, I think, that you will have is the ride that you had the hardest time. And we went on a ride 10 years ago. We were much younger then. All of us had sparkles in our eye and springs in our steps. No, we went to China towards Tibet.
My dad just messaged. Ryan, can you float this up?
Yeah, that was around there.
Yeah,
That's a bit.
That was a 13-day tour, but we thought it was going to be a walk in the park, but it was not. Every day was a very challenging 400-kilometer ride with 200 kilometers of dirt. And the altitudes we reached were at 2,500 meters until 3,850 meters.
Wow.
And at certain points, you could not breathe, you could not see. It was also at areas where there had been no Caucasians ever seen. Some of our riding friends looked Caucasian, and so a lot of people were even feeling their hair because they've never seen Caucasian before or a Spanish-looking person. And we went on to these temples that tourists have never been to. So Tibet was very difficult because it was it was a year after the Luneta shooting. And after the Luneta incident, China was very strict with tourists going into Tibet. And we were being followed by Chinese police and have been told to leave the hotels before sunrise. But the thing is, we would get to our hotels before midnight. And coming down from mountain passes with huge trucks, where you're at the end of your wits, and your temper and your character is tested. But out of that particular ride, we ended up 13 days after in a place called Shangri-La, and it was the Golden Temple, right? And then
Hindi to yung Shangri-La in EDSA. No, ibang ano.
that's what it was made. That's what it was made after.
Oh, wow.
Shangri-La. And so that Shangri-La was a magical place, but just to get there was so difficult. We would get to our hotels at around 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock in the evening, and there would not be any electricity in the towns that we would land in. In the rooms, it would be -1 degrees. We did not change.
God.
We did not take a bath for 4 days. There was only holes in our bathrooms, and it was not a touristy thing. Many of us lost 10 pounds. After
Wow.
the trip. We all
10
looked
pounds,
like
grabe.
we all were all fully bearded. And it just brought, I guess, the group closer together. It brought the
Yep.
brotherhood together. And it was a test of a character. And I think if you're able to do this with friends, and you see the real character of that person, it brings you closer. At the end of the ride, it's either you don't like the guy or you love the guy, right? Luckily, we've been riding together the same group has been riding together for more than 20 years, every Saturday. And so I guess, that's where the bond came in. And that's where probably I got my job too, right?
That's true. That's a really difficult interview.
Yeah, because
That's the most intense interview ever.
Sinet up pala lahat, no?
so I was lucky to have been able to given that opportunity to be able to be part of the Ayala KTM venture. But maybe it's because also of the involvement in the planning, involvement in the setting up, involvement in the problems, fixing the problems, getting things done. I guess it all came together, coming from being a banker for 23 years, going to work now in rubber shoes and jeans is such a blessing that I just realized today. So Ibba, yeah, that
Wow.
was it. It was difficult. I cannot forget. I still have some dirt on my nose from that ride.
The same thing happened actually with Toto and myself and Philippe Sobier when we did 19 days around the Philippines. I lost a bunch of weight there, but it's because Philippe didn't believe in eating. and
Especially
Iba
in the
yun.
time.
Ano yun?
and around the same time, we were in China. My wife and I. It was our honeymoon, and I did the total opposite of what you recommended. One of my partners, Bing Tan, he met somebody on a flight coming from like China, and they started talking. He saw he had a motorcycle magazine, and they started talking about bikes. And the guy goes, "Oh, I have a whole bunch of these old CJ 750s, like from the 60s. Come to China.
Solid.
I'll lend you some bikes." And we're very young. We were very young, much younger then. I just gotten married, and I said, "That's a great honeymoon." So not knowing anything, we flew to China, and there were these beautiful like Indiana Jones motorcycles, and this guy who didn't speak English. He was the mechanic, and he just brought us for days, and we followed the Great Wall. And we would stop wherever, like random Chinese farming villages, hike up these paths that had no signs up to the Great Wall. And it was a pretty epic trip, but I would never do that again. Like, I don't know, maybe because I know more now. We didn't have licenses, weren't allowed. What would have, I mean, now in hindsight, it was a great adventure, but God, we were stupid. All right. So I'm going to skip ahead to our last question for this segment because we still want to tackle Oro Plata Moto. For you, what does it mean to be a real rider? What does it mean to be a Tunay na rider? Let's start with Ruel.
Okay. Tunay na rider. I think Tunay is, for me, I equate it with authenticity. No? You know what you're capable of. You know your experience, as we were discussing. So, for me, authenticity will come first of your strength as a rider and your limitations. And that's very important because that will affect the others, especially when you ride in a group. So, for me, I would really want myself vis-a-vis the people that I'm with, that I ride with, are really totoong tao, totoong rider in effect. No? And this is exactly what I enjoy riding with the group. You don't qualify. I think when I say qualify, hindi mo sinisino yung tao. Because in riding, I think you could relate to this. You don't discount anyone because, as I've said, what you don't know everything. So that person might be the missing link to provide that help in that moment. No?
Tama.
So I've learned that very well. So for me, yung tunay is really, I would equate it to authenticity as a person, in effect, as a rider. You translate it in the principles of riding. And in effect, when you are authentic as well, people get to relate to you eh. Diba? You get to talk not only of riding, but other things. No? It goes to a personal, to a good relationship, friendship. Diba? Nagiging barkada, tropa. Diba? And in effect, yun nga yung sinasabi natin, you stick to the people whom you know will not leave you behind, whatever happens. And I think, Iba, we've gone through a lot of that. No? We've seen it as a group. No? Kahit hindi natin masyadong kakilala, pero when something unforeseen happened, we have to step up because we know that that is the right thing to do. Diba? Because hindi lang yung rider, there is a family of that rider that we are responsible of. No? So sa akin, bonus na yung iba eh. Yung of sa riding, yung you get to share, you have a glimpse of Dino's table and everything. Sa akin, mga bonus items yan eh. Because he will not show it to you if he's not comfortable with you.
Right.
Diba? Yun eh.
Right.
You won't invite people in your
Tama.
own stable if you're not comfortable. So, nasa-sense naman natin yan eh. Diba? In as much as ako, if I let go of a bike, hindi naman sa yabang, I don't sell it for profit eh. Actually, alaskado nga ako, I normally sell
Yep.
it daw palugi. Pero ang hinaharap ko kasi, nagko-connect eh. Diba? Yung alaga mo dun sa unit, sa bike, alam mo, mata-transfer doon sa tao at aalagaan pa ng mas mabuti. Diba? The passion continues. Diba? So it's what I equate yung being tunay na rider. And for me, the tunay na rider, especially you really abide, yung you follow rules, no? Rules of safety is very important for me. If you can afford to invest on a bike, invest on your apparel, on your safety apparels. Very important, and I could attest to that.
And dapat matching.
Of
Dapat
course.
bagay for bike, di ba?
Kasama na yun, no? If you have a tolerant partner of push the envelope, diba?
Yep.
Don't scrimp on that. So sa akin yun. And I guess, again, you owe it. A tunay na rider owes it to the family to be safe, to come home safe, and be dutiful. Diba? Be responsible. Sa akin, yun ang importante sa akin. That's how I equate tunay na rider. Wala sa itsura ng bike. Diba? Ibig sabihin, hindi ako nanganglase ng brand per se. But merong yung pangangalaga sa sarili, sa bike, sa kapwa, sa pamilya. In that kind of sphere.
I have absolutely nothing to add. Like zero comment. All right, we can end the show now.
We have found.
Carried away lang ako.
I totally agree. I totally agree with Ruel that that's very important. That's the tunay na rider. The other item that probably I wanted to add there is when I was a kid, whenever I would go from point A, let's say to a cousin's house or to a friend's house, and that would be 2 to 3 kilometers. To me, that was like going on an event, right? It was an event for me. And so the tunay na rider also looks at his ride to be an event, not just a journey. It's an event. I look forward to it, and I want to be able to savor every little bit of it. And so I guess for me, and the tunay na riders like you guys, also feel that when you ride, that sense of fulfillment, that sense of friendship, that sense of smell, the sense of sight, hearing, everything. It all comes together. Without being responsible, as what Ruel said, I don't think it makes the whole picture, right? So that responsibleness, right, together with it being an event, for me, makes him Tunay na rider, right?
Correct.
So, to sum it up in 2 words, these wonderful sentiments. One is honesty, right? Honesty to yourself, honesty to the people you ride with, honesty about your capabilities, and the other is passion.
Yeah.
You have to love riding. It's not an appliance, right? It's not something you. It's not the MRT. It's not a bus. It's not a Vios, right? Some people love Vioses. I'm not discounting that, but it's not a tool.
Yeah.
You have to love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And without that tool, I wouldn't be friends with you guys, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to me, that's what makes it so good. Roel and I see each other often, no, within the company, and we have a special bond, even with your dad, Ibba, with
Yep,
Romy. When
yep,
we see him, oh, there's a special bond because we know, we consider him tunay na rider, right?
yep, yep.
So
For my dad, tunay na rider means breaking
yeah,
a bone.
yeah.
Ano yan? Every time, your dad is so inspiring that when he asks us to ride, you cannot say no. I mean,
Wait,
look
sorry.
at what we're saying, di ba? You cannot say no because look at him. Against all odds, he will ride.
Yep,
And then he
yep.
will invite you. You will say no.
Mark Song, I just want to say there's nothing at all wrong with the Vios. I think they're great cars, but they're more like appliances. Some people love them, right? And that's cool. Nothing wrong with it. But I would probably love a Ferrari more. All right. So that said, we are ending Tunay na Rider of the Week. We've got 2 more segments and we're going to blitz through this, but it's raffle time. So Doc Francis, you are not too late for the raffle. This raffle, you got to like our page, share the stream. And now, Jules, can you load up the Wheel of Winners? This is for an Under Armour shirt, care of Under Armour Philippines and Uncle Warren C. All right, let's spin the winning wheel.
Madami-dami kasama ngayon.
Oo nga eh.
No.
Spin. Is it spinning?
Ang ruleta.
Yun.
Yan.
The winner is June Mendoza.
June Mendoza.
All right. We still have, my condo is full of stuff from friends who love us. We've got a whole bunch of Touratech stuff, Under Armour stuff, Otterbox stuff. So we'll keep on doing this every single, at the end of every single segment. All you have to do is like our stream, like our page, and share our stream. All right. Now it's Jolly's turn. We're going to be talking about Oro Plata Moto and some of the best bikes in the world made in the Philippines. Take it away, Jolly.
All right. So one of the hottest, parang laging talked about topics. Like, tuwing nasa condo kami ni Ibba would be like, shit, gusto ko ng bike na to.
It's true.
Ano ba yung dalawa nating, the 2 made in the Philippines na KTM bikes are the 390 Adventure, and the 390 Juke, and the 790 Adventure. So, one of the first bikes na gusto kong pag-usapan is the upcoming, or na-release na pala, na 390 Adventure.
And Dino, feel free to correct Jolly, ha? Engineer Jolly.
Minsan sa blade din yung mga sinasabi ko. So, one of the nicest things about the 390 Adventure is that it's a segment na hindi pa masyadong saturated yung entry level na displacement, which is the 390cc class. Yung kagandahan dito, it's hindi siya it's not as intimidating to use as the litter bikes. like the 1190 or the 1290. It's beginner friendly. Actually, it's being advertised yata in other countries as being ano siya, yung sa license restrictions. It's a beginner friendly bike.
Yeah.
So that's I just want to gloss through the technical aspects ng bike. Yung sa next slide, please. So yung 390 Juke is single cylinder that derived from the
It's a
390.
single. That's right. That's right.
Derived from the 390 Juke series, 4-valve, right? Yung for a 390cc bike, it's producing like 43 horsepower, which is impressive for that
Yes.
class. Nagulat ako
Madami
dun sa
yun.
ano Nagulat ako dun sa 12.6, yung 12.6 is to 1 na compression ratio. That's
Yeah, you know, Jolly, when the 390 is a model name, and therefore these 390s are registered as 400cc in the Philippines. Now, the thing is with these 390 adventures, KTM built a 390 Duke, which became a very big hit, but it was for the street segment, and at that time, KTM felt that the adventure segment, of which it was very, very strong in, needed a bike to get people started, right? And at that time, MotoGP for KTM was still in its infancy, no, almost 5 years ago, right? And however, the Dakar was something that they've been doing for 18 years, right? And they've been winning, right? So they felt that maybe it's about time to test this engine, to use it on a adventure bike for people that would like to get into it, or people who would like a bike that they could ride in the city and yet go anywhere. And so during the beginning, Carl de Kloot and Artan and myself went to Austria, and we also gave our thoughts on the concept bike as we rode the concept 390 adventures. And we were telling them what we felt the bike should have. Because we also felt that the Filipinos needed a bike made for Filipinos by the Filipino. In the beginning, as we were building this whole enterprise, our dream was for the Filipinos to be able to ride KTMs. So we said, then let's build it. So when we started to build in the Philippines, we were able to get incentives from the government in order to build it without having to pay the import duties because of the investment into the factory. 3 years down the road, we've built more than 20,000 motorcycles.
Wow.
We've exported 80% to ASEAN and to China. And the Philippines is lucky enough to be able to get subsidized by the large export volumes. And the Filipinos have been doing their part in trying to get this 390 adventure on the road, no? So the first few units have already been at the dealerships, no? But every day we're continuing to build them, but because we feel that the Philippines is perfect for it. This bike can use on road or off road. The riding position is not as sport as that of the 390 Duke. The height is a little bit taller than the 390 Duke because of the suspension. If you were to buy a bike that you wanted to ride to Baguio tomorrow, right? And come what may with regard to the weather and the road conditions, the 390 Adventure would be the best bike to take. Yeah, perfect, no? But that's just
It's the
part
perfect
of
bike
the-
for me, I think. I love the
Yeah.
390 Adventure.
The thing is, Ibba, this 390 Adventure engine is the same engine that we're using in the 401s for the split pillion and the spark pillion.
Oh, wow.
Start-
Okay.
So as far as the Filipino talent is concerned in the factory, building this motor into a chassis is more or less the same. And so we're able to build the Husqvarnas before the end of the year. So Husqvarna
They're going to be made here in the Philippines?
Yes.
Yes! You heard it here!
Yeah.
Lunch na natin dito ngayon.
Start feeling.
Para mauna na.
Ganda.
Six Husqvarna dealerships are going to be opening before the end of the year in the Philippines. We're also going to be carrying the electric mountain bikes. That's what will happen.
Uy!
Oh.
And
heard of
you
that.
guys are the first ones to know it. I think I'm shocking the people in the office that I'm announcing it, but
I'm
you know, it's something that we are going to be doing, so we might as well tell everybody that we're going to be doing it, right? I mean, the 790 Adventure street model and the 790 Adventure R model, the street is already in the dealerships. The R's are coming out in October. It's been, I think it's been a dream come true for me and the rest of the team that I represent. I'm only a coach. These guys are the star players. I just help put them together. They're the ones who do everything. They're able to put the Philippines on the map in the KTM Museum, where the Philippines is there as a red flag that is able to export motorcycles to China and ASEAN. So we're really proud of that. I mean, I don't think in my
I want to repeat. I want to emphasize that this is these are one of the few things that we export to China.
Correct.
Correct. Locally made KTM
KTMs.
motorcycles.
And you know, Ibba,
That's
during
incredible.
During the pandemic, many of us were home, right? But some of us were at the factory because the orders have continued to flow. We're just lucky enough that we're building 1,000 motorcycles a month, right, for export. And we're just lucky that the economy in China has already started to move much ahead of us, and the orders for export have continuing to grow. And we are at full capacity. We have 2 shifts. Our days are very busy at the factory, and the Philippines is lucky enough to have the bikes here because of our export volume, right? So the pricing that we have for the 390 Adventure, you can compare it to any price anywhere in the world at 309,000. That's a steal, right?
And there's nothing that comes close to it here.
Ang ganda ng pricing.
Philippine made. I mean,
Yep.
40% of that motorcycle has components from the Philippines and ASEAN. So, it's something that I think we should support because you are able to give the Filipino talent, all the guys in KAMMI, all of you, the heroes that are there every day. I'm looking at all of you, and all of you are watching here. Thank you for all the work you've been doing the past few months. It's Bayanihan. We do things together. And I told all of you this morning, together we win as one, right? And both with the IMI team that has been really collaborating successfully with both the KTM and the KAMMI team, together, this whole group, the heroes, RJ Narvaez, Ed Cilindro, Noel, JP Henry, Felix, Ed, June, Susan, all of them, Alessandro Guy, Luca Martin, have made the Filipinos dream not only to export motorcycles, but to export the pride of the Filipino. I think that is most important. We don't just buy appliances. We don't just import. We build it here.
Correct.
And that Filipino blood in that motorcycle is very, very special. And hopefully, we're able to have a lot of Filipinos be able to get chances to ride these motorcycles because it was built here, made by us, for us, right? So, yeah, sorry, just passionate about
You've inspired so many people
Yeah.
who are watching. This is incredible. Thank you, Dino.
I
Nobody
just like to
believe.
comment also Dino.
I would go. Sorry, go ahead, Ruel.
No, I just like to add to this because Dino is modest enough to not to mention it. But even our initiative of interns, no, that we have interns who these are the people, the students who were dislocated and transferred to Calauan, Laguna. And they've been working and being trained on the technical aspect. KTM sila Dino took that opportunity, and gave that privilege to these students to really become interns in KTM plant. And I tell you, that opportunity sparked a big hope for a lot of the youth in Calauan. Ito yung mga na-displace ng panahon ng Ondoy. But sila Dino, they opened it up. No? Dino, I have to really commend you. Nakita ko yung effect sa mga bata. So I really appreciate and thank your team for giving them that opportunity. And I saw that some of these girls are doing, the lady technicians are doing very well. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you, Ruel. No, it's because of your guidance as well that we were able to get top talents. We are proud to say that we're probably one of the few dealerships in the Philippines that have lady mechanics. The lady mechanics, fantastic. I got a comment from Martan, and he told me, "How come the shop floor is so clean? It's never been like this." I said, "It's because the lady mechanics are." These guys put back the tools where they're supposed to be put. And we're so proud of them. And in fact, the Don Bosco Calauan initiative, that one is something we're so proud of. And hopefully we can even get more talent. Because as I told you, the Filipino only needs to be given a chance. That's all we need. And if we're given that chance, we have to be able to take it, right? And that is the mantra of KTM Asia Motorcycle Manufacturing Corporation. We are given that chance as Filipinos to show the world that we can do it, right? Plus, the bonus factor is we speak better English than our Asian counterparts, right? Which makes it easier for the principals in Austria and other countries to be able to understand us and to be able to do things quickly. So, we're just happy that the Filipino is shining. And amidst the pandemic, we're glad that we still have jobs, we still have production.
That's rare. That's rare. Wow, there's so much to digest. The first thing is we're gonna make freaking Husqvarnas here in the country.
Yep.
We're gonna make
Not the end.
e-bicycles.
That's not the end. That's only the beginning. That's only the beginning.
Okay, this is like I'm blown away. We had a whole spiel to go in depth into the 390, but Jolly, let's sum it up, because I don't think we can top that anymore. Come on. Jolly, what for you? What are the things that blew you away with the 390 that we can ask Dino about?
Grabe yung I was reading.
Jolly, you muted yourself. Jolly, you're on mute.
Na ina-apply. Ay, sorry. Hello?
No, you're
Hello?
okay na. You're okay na. Ryan unmuted.
Yun. Okay. Yan. All right. Binabasa ko yung technical specs. As in si Ibba, when we were talking about the bike, I was...
Oh man, we lost Jolly.
Pwede bang kayo na rin gumawa ng mga cell sites?
Ibang
grupo yun, pare.
we actually do a lot of that because with KTM manufacturing, it is in collaboration and joint effort with IMI. And IMI provides the process, IMI provides the expertise, right, in the building of semiconductors and everything. So with KTM's motorcycle and IMI's collaboration, we're able to join forces and try to make things even better, right? So that's the goal. So together, we win. But because if there has to be continuous improvement, there has to be continuous collaboration. And probably because of IMI, we are here today. Without IMI, we would not be here today, right? So Luca Martin, Peter Stuhlberger, he's watching, and Alessandro Guy, and all of the teams, Carl De Clut, no, Nani Juarez, Bimbo, Manu, all of those guys, Kimbo, Ana Lumban, all of these guys have all taken that leap of faith. We all had desk jobs in the past. I was a banker wearing a necktie and a suit and briefcase, right? Coming to office every day at 9 to 5. All of us took that leap of faith to try to establish and build that dream for the Filipino to be able to build that motorcycle and not just sell it. We wanted to build it. Selling here, yes, that's a bonus. But we needed to be able to export this because that's where the volume
Tama.
business, right? And that is the real inclusive goal of Ayala to do, because you're providing expertise, you're providing training, you're providing livelihood. So all of that, these people that have come together, Selreen, all of Anna, Abby, all of them, they've all come together and left all of their day jobs and
Took that jump.
faith. In
Yep.
fact, we
Aw.
took this leap of faith even without having signed a contract with KTM yet. I didn't have a desk for 4 months. Right?
I remember I visited you in that office in BGC. You were squatting
Yes.
in another office. Yeah.
Exactly. Correct. And it was it freaked out my parents, right? And freaked out my family. What the hell are you doing? You know, you went to school to be a banker. I said yes, but that was not my dream. That was your dream. My dream was to be able to be a mechanic. My dream was to be able to build and sell bikes. And so all of these guys that have taken that leap of faith have created where we are today and have provided the power to be able for us to see what we want to do in the future. So our TAN's leadership together with Jaime and Fernando have given us the confidence that, hey, the Filipino can. Let's do this. But only if we will be able to give jobs to our fellow men. Only if ancillary businesses of suppliers is established. Only if the Philippines is created as a hub for export. Because hey, this doesn't stop here. It's gonna go on, and we have big dreams, and we have nothing to lose. We came from nowhere, right?
Yep.
We all took this job. We're 3 years into this job, and so the future is wide open. Yes, there is a pandemic, right? But we're using the crisis to learn and retool and rethink
Tama.
how we're going to go for the future. You don't just hold back. You have the team to be able to help you, guide you to see what are you going to do in the future post-COVID on the new normal. You might as well dictate the new normal rather than just adapt, right? So with that leadership of Ayala, with Jaime, Fernando, Art, and the rest of my bosses, the future is wide open, and I'm just a steward of this, right? It does not depend on me. It depends on, I just have this job. But in the future, many of the guys with me will have my job, right? And I'm just happy that this goes on. Because
You're
this
building the foundation for it.
Exactly. I don't own it. I'm just a steward of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love about what
I'm so passionate about it.
that's perfectly fine. The other thing that I love, Dino, about what you're doing is generally when we, and it's sad, it saddens me, but generally when we have stuff that's made for export, it's better than what locals can consume.
Yeah.
Right? We make stuff better for other people, for other countries than what we provide for fellow Filipinos. With KTM, that's not the case. You're exporting it, but you're also providing the same kind of quality to a lot of Filipinos at an affordable price, which is
Because
speaking of price, how much is the 390 Adventure?
309,000.
309,000.
Yes, and the
That's
790 Adventure, the 790 Adventure is 740. The 790 Adventure R is 749,000. That came down
wow.
from 950.
Mhm.
So the prices have been brought down by 26%, right?
That's
And
crazy.
22
Mm.
respectively.
Laki.
The
Laki na.
790 Duke is 599,000.
Ruel,
Okay,
masakit ba? Masakit?
Mm.
So
Ah,
the price becomes irrelevant because when you are treated very well,
You're paying for the
anything I
quality of
yeah,
service.
I mean, I just ring up Dino.
yeah,
Okay na? Wala. I mean, even it
of
pays off
course.
a lot that Dino rides the same bike. So whatever Dino does with his bike, I get the privilege.
Correct, correct. And Iba, the Filipinos are a beneficiary of the exports, and I think hopefully for even other manufacturing industries, hopefully the export volumes are able to help the local produce being made accessible to the Filipinos. In the past, when you go abroad and you buy a shirt and you see it's made in the Philippines, but you would never have been able to buy it there anyway, right?
Yep, yep,
What we're
yep.
doing, and the only reason why we're able to do it is because we have great partners. KTM as a partner with Ayala is a partner that was forged in friendship. It was a meeting of the minds. In fact, we were already 4 months into the building of the factory without even having signed any agreements together. So we
Wow.
would build
That's a lot of
mm.
we,
trust.
yes, we would build stuff in the factory. We make huge investments, right? KTM would send machines over, would send people, even without any agreements forged. And then the agreements just became moot and academic 4 months after. So in 6 months, the factory was rolling and bikes were being built. I don't think it could have been better done
Mhm.
because both parties trusted each other, and we owe it to both Ayala and KTM's leadership that all of these had come together.
And I don't think it would have happened also kung
Mhm.
hindi kayo tunay na rider lahat. The guys in KTM. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That what Ruel was saying earlier, that
yeah,
that authenticity, that honesty, and that shared passion, like you said,
Yeah.
Dino.
yeah,
'Di ba?
yeah.
Parang you guys understood each other regardless of
You know,
where you're
you know
from.
ba, sa opisina, minsan, pagka may problema dun sa isang motorsiklo, some
Mhm.
people, they talk about it, right? In our group, we stop and pause and we look up. And in our minds, we are doing where the fuel is going and trying to see where, right? And so after 5 minutes, we stop and tell each other, what's your story? Where do you think the problem is?
Mm.
Right? So because
Ganda.
you have people that are not the people that are have been trained on the corporate side, but are
Mhm.
also motorcycle riders. The problem is kasi if you just get motorcycle riders that have not been trained in the corporate side,
Mhm.
there might not be a good mix of culture because at the end of the day, it's a business, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that I think is we're just lucky enough that these guys that have joined me into this whole enterprise took that leap of faith. We're just lucky that we all had come together, right?
So
Parang parang meron silang it's like you guys have a language na kayo lang nakakaintindi. Not
Yes,
necessarily verbal eh.
Jolly, dati customer din kami. 'Di ba? So yun ang
Yeah.
pinaka-importante. Hindi kami pinanganak na may-ari kami ng isang dealership at nagbebenta lang ng motor, right? At
Mhm.
nag-i-import at you make a certain margin. Um, Dito kami, puro kami motorsiklo. We were all motorcycle riders, mga tunay na rider yung mga yan. So pagdating sa opisina, nagagamit namin yung perspective ng isang tunay rider because that's what the rider really wants, 'di ba? So, yun ang kagandahan siguro nung opisina namin, yung mga
Mhm.
nakakasama namin sa trabaho, both in Ayala and IMI, lahat sila rider eh. So,
Mhm.
pagdating namin sa isang meeting, nagkakaintindihan kami tungkol dun sa motor. Because in a car, anybody can drive a car. You can drive a car without having to know what the hell that car is. But you cannot ride a motorcycle without having to know what that motorcycle is, right? And so it's important for all of us, our people in the office, at all levels, to be able to have their own KTM experience. Because how can you build a motorcycle if you don't know what the motorcycle is?
Cycle is for.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Diba?
Okay, thank you so much. All right, Jolly prepared a whole segment on a deep dive into the 390, into the engineering of the 390 and the 790. But Dino, we're gonna take you up on that offer of going to the
Yeah.
factory, and if we can do the deep dive there instead of sharing, you know, uh, marketing pictures or
But
stuff
can
that we captured online.
We want one request. Can we have Ruel there too? Because he's
Of course, if Ruel has time, we would love to have Ruel there also.
Ride tayo papunta ron.
May problema lang ako kasi lahat yata kayo may KTM na bike Hindi ba yung bike ko magso-spontaneously combust pagpasok ko dun sa factory?
Pintura mo na orange.
Speaking of, Doc Triggs says, yeah, I know those hombre BMW riders should have been here with mouths wide open and orange with envy. That would make life complete, right? So,
you know, to us, it doesn't matter what bike you ride. Really, I mean, in the office, it doesn't really matter what bike you ride. In fact, there's no hard selling. You will never hear anybody in KTM hard sell you a product. Where you say that the product that we have is good, but everybody is good also. So we're just one of the many. The only thing probably that makes it different is the people involved, the people behind that product. And behind that product is a company called Ayala. And Ayala is a company that hires professionals. And so that's where we come into play and do our roles. Manu, Nani, Carl, myself, Anna, we're not there because we're special. We're there because we have roles, right?
Correct.
And when we are done with our time, people will come over and take over our roles as well in the Ayala way, right?
Yep.
So to me, that's very, very important. So regardless of what brand you ride, it doesn't matter. For as long as you're Tunay na rider, man, you're welcome. You're welcome. No discrimination. I mean,
Correct.
everybody. The only reason why it's like that is because many of us also had different brands of bikes before, and we were very happy. Right? Yeah.
So true.
it's true.
Also,
Yeah.
I mean, Dino, actually, just to add there, what you guys are just providing opportunity and choice.
Yeah.
I mean, punta ka doon, kwentuhan, just anything under the sun. Natatawa nga ako minsan, anecdotally, nangyayari. Simpleng bagay. Minsan naiiyak ako, Dino, dadaanan yung bike. Pag nalaman niya, kakilala niya, bago umakyat yan, titingnan niya yung bike. No? Because why? Because he knows. He knows as a customer, kailangan mong magawa, gusto mong i-ride. And I remember, even yung accessories before, kanya yung accessory, ibibigay pa niya yan. Because as a customer, he would know, gusto nito, o sige, unahin nyo na. No?
Yeah.
So I
Yep,
really
yep,
appreciate that. Those small gestures, it's only a tunay na rider who could relate to that. No?
Agree 100%.
You know, Ibba, yung mga tao namin sa opisina dati, they will never forget. Lahat yan pinalinis ko ng motor. Why? Because they were wondering why I was cleaning the motorcycles in the wash bay. And I told them, pinapaliguan ko yung motorsiklo kasi niroromansa ko yan eh. Gusto ko makita lahat ng tornilyo, kung anong kinakalawang, anong hindi, anong lumuluwag, anong nag-iiba ang kulay. And I want all of you, including accounting, to go down and clean the bikes. Because the only way you will see that motorcycle is if you get your hands dirty.
Tama.
And so everybody in the office, regardless of position, clean the bike. I mean,
Tama.
that's how it is, man.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, ano nga, sabi nga ng tatay ko lagi, kasi lagi niya ako pinapag-car wash yung mga bikes. If you don't clean it, you don't own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi
Yeah.
hindi mo malalaman eh. Diba? Hindi mo malalaman. Yung motor ni Ruel, alam ko yan kasi tinitingnan ko lahat. Nakikita ko kung yung cornering niya okay. Kung malaki yung sides, no? Diba? And makikita mo yan. And then you will now tailor your mechanical skills to be able to recommend to him what type of equipment is needed for his riding style.
Yeah.
Diba?
So true. So true.
Kasi pwede mo naman lagyan niya ng pangkarera pero hindi naman niya may enjoy.
Correct.
Diba? So, ang
Correct,
dapat
correct.
niya,
Tama.
pang touring, right? Para ma-enjoy niya.
Yeah.
Diba?
So true. So true.
All right. Buck, magmeme moto pa tayo or hindi na?
Mukhang hindi na.
Parang ang ganda ng kwentuhan eh.
Tuloy na natin.
Masira rin.
So, okay.
Tuloy
I mean,
na
like,
natin.
ituloy na natin. All right. So this ends this segment of Oro Plata Moto. We've got another raffle and giveaways, and then it'll be when we sign off after that. And then dalawa ng raffle and giveaways.
Oh,
Tama, dalawa na. I really have way too much stuff in the condo. All right.
Yan.
Spin
Si
that
Carl.
wheel. Si Carl,
Spin that
my dad.
wheel.
Ethan Cruz
Ethan
wins.
Cruz. Nanalo ka agad.
Grabe si Ethan.
All right. Ethan Cruz, you won an
KTM
Under
yan,
Armour
mabilis eh.
shirt. Naka-KTM ba yan?
Oh, mabilis eh.
Just message us and the guy who won earlier, June, message us your size and we'll send it over. We will only pay for local Metro Manila, Imperial Manila shipping kasi galing sa bulsa namin yung shipping nito. All right, let's spin that wheel one more time for another Under Armour giveaway. I have so many Under Armour things to give away.
Oh,
Jovi.
Jovi Becaro.
Becaro. Again, I hope you're in Imperial Manila. Message us, and then we will get back to you with the prize.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess we have another section, Dino, Ruel, and it's ridiculous. It's silly. It's memes. But you know what? It would ruin the inspiration that we.
Oo nga, wag na.
Seriously, man.
Wag na yung segment, diba?
Wag na yung
Bonus na yung
segment, diba?
bonus na yung launching nung Husky.
Yeah, I think this has been one of our best episodes. Thank you so much, Dino. Thank you so much, Ruel. Do you have any parting words to our highly engaged
Oo nga.
viewers, man? Grabe, Gaki
Daming
Azulin, Doc Bench, Tom, and all of the guys from KTM, and even Sel from Ayala Foundation says hi. I mean,
Oy, may mga gusto na mag down payment para sa mga Husky electric bikes daw.
ako, magda-down payment na rin ako eh. I mean, like I'm sold. I'm sold on all of them. Any last words, sir? Ruel.
Well, first, thank you so much, Ibba, Bach, Jolly, of course, Dino. I think this program is very inspiring. It's a very good venue because this is where we can share our passion. But at the same time, for others to understand exactly where it's coming from and how we can really evolve and make this relevant. I think, for one, I just like to make an appeal also. I'll dovetail when I say responsible. It really takes each and every one of us to really stand for what a Tunay rider is, no? And we just have to help each other. I always say it takes really a village to bring up everyone. And I think at this point in time in our country, wherein we are already so besieged with the situation, this kind of venue will become more relevant because we really give a lot of right information. Number one, safety, and you are part of saving lives. Number three, you are part of the solution in putting order out there in the streets, no, and very important. And I like to borrow what Dino said. No, we in the Ayala Group actually are very proud of this initiative, of what we're doing. We're not really on the building of bikes, but we're really part of building a nation. No? At least where we are, where we have this privilege, we hope that we could really be part of this nation building. So that's where I'm coming from. Maraming salamat sa opportunity for
You know,
inviting.
we didn't even get into the real nitty-gritty specs, which is what we wanted to do. But a lot of people are already like, what an incredible story. I want to buy a KTM. Parang ganun ka. Really, if you look at the comments, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. And I'm already drinking the orange juice. And I still need to get that 390. Now I'm tempted by the Husky. I'm tempted by a. Will the e-bike be made here also? No
We-
comment.
Sabihin.
Said too
Sabihin.
much. Art is gonna get angry. No need to answer. No need to. No pressure.
Sa PM na lang, PM na lang.
PM sent.
We are looking at every opportunity for every Filipino to be able to do what it can to help this economy move forward, to show the world what the Filipino can. It was the dream of Ayala and KTM for the Filipinos to ride KTMs, and therefore we wanted to build them. Now that we're building them, we want not just Asia, but we want the world to be able to see what we can do for them, right? So just wanted to thank you guys, Ibba, Jolly, Bach, Ruel, for having me here today and to talk about the passion, but not only just the passion, to talk about the motorcycles that the team that I belong to on both ends, IMI, KTM, KAMMI, ACPI, Adventure Cycle Philippines, all of these people that have come together, who have taken that leap of faith to help this nation building project of ours, is something that I think we hope that continues further to show the world what the Filipino can. And KTM knows that the Filipino is now ready to race. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
All
best
right.
bikes in the world.
Buck, Jolly. Any any last parting remarks, Buck and Jolly? I'm sorry, man. Your
No,
segments
Jolly,
got
Jolly.
cut, man.
At least
Gusto
may
ko ng
bangko na
KTM.
ako para next week.
Oh. So with KTM and Ayala Foundation, they're not just building bikes, or they're just not just donating stuff, right? They're empowering people to love their country and explore their country and build their
Yeah.
country. And
Yeah.
on that note, this is the most serious Tunay na rider we've had, but
Ever.
I think the most inspirational. Thank you so much, Dino. Thank you so much, Ruel. I know you're incredibly busy, and we appreciate everything that you're doing. And yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, ride hard, and ride safe.
May category ba iba pag pag nata-top 10, top 5 tayo na most patriotic show?
Oo, dapat. Oh, yan.
May
Tunay na
ganon.
rider. The most patriotic motorcycle show in the Philippines.
In the
Yun, number one
Philippines.
tayo doon. Number
Number
one.
one. Number one.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Sel.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here.
everyone.
Hindi na natin kailangan husgahan tong mga to. Talagang mga tunay na rider to.
Tunay na rider. Without a
Oo.
doubt.
Hindi na tinatanong.
The integrity and the authenticity, tunay na rider talaga. All right. Good night, everyone.
All right.
Stay safe.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.